What is good? What is up? It's Jordan or Texans Thoughts, and I'm coming back at you with another film breakdown. Today we are going to look at left guard Max Scharping's rookie season. I'll admit I wasn't a huge fan of the pick at the time, but after a season of games and reviewing his tape, I'm confident in saying he's the second best player on our offensive line behind Laramie Tunsil. I was really impressed with how much he improved from his time in college at NIU and how quickly he's translated those skills to the NFL. I think he's going to have a breakout season and be one of the top players at his position in the entire league. He's really found himself a home at left guard, and I'm going to break down the strengths and weaknesses to his game today. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Quick shout out to Gonzo the Great and AJ for the Scharping recommendation. I really do appreciate y'all's support and want to input your ideas as much as possible. So if you want to see a breakdown on someone, leave it in the comments below. Now let's dive into the film. Okay, let's start by talking about Max Scharping's strengths to his game. And the first thing I want to talk about is his power and strength that comes from his lower body as well as his hands. So on this play, Scharping is going to have to deal with a bull rush, and he does really well to have a nice wide base with a strong lower body. Then he does well to pick up his right foot here so that when he's blown back like this, he's able to give up ground slowly and re-anchor himself to where he stood up the defensive tackle there and gives Watson a good clean pocket to step up and avoid the pressure and make this nice throw. When you're dealing with bull rushes, you're not just going to stonewall them, you have to give up some ground eventually. It's just important to be able to do it slowly, like against this play against Bills defensive tackle Jordan Phillips, who had 9.5 sacks last year. We can see here that Scharping squares up Phillips really nicely, has a good wide base, takes the blow and stands him up so that Watson still has enough space to step up into the pocket and scramble. Here's another great example of giving up ground but being able to recover and standing up the defensive tackle attacking you. Which is a really good job to still have a clean pocket for Watson here. Even though he gives up ground, he gives it up slowly and recovers quickly enough. So we saw how strong Scharping's lower body is, but his hands and his punches in particular are also very strong, which is very helpful for an offensive lineman. You can see how Scharping gets hands on the defensive tackle initially right here, and then boom, pushes him off to the side and gets him away from the quarterback and just nullifies his rush entirely. Another one here where Scharping's punch and his length in particular right here you can see just completely stuns the defensive tackle, and he isn't able to do anything against Scharping at all. His strong hands come in handy when he gets beat to the inside here a little bit and then he pushes him out of the play, still giving Watson a good pocket. Whenever Scharping gets his hands on you, it's basically over here. He just completely stops the defensive lineman in his tracks, and you can see that he's the only guy who actually has his guy blocked at this point. Next, let's look at Max Scharping's great ability on double teams. These are a staple of every run game's offense, and look at this block here with Nick Martin. He's working on the defensive tackle, and he gets square with him and starts to run his feet and drive him out of this gap completely while Nick Martin works to the second level and blocks the linebacker. On this next play, Scharping helps Martin with the initial block and then climbs to the second level to attack the linebacker. So they kind of switch roles here, and Scharping just kind of shows that he can do everything asked of him as an offensive lineman. Good job on the first block, gets him out of the way, then boom, makes contact on the linebacker and gives Duke Johnson a good hole to follow. Look at how much ground he covers on this one to get to the end and then to go up to the linebacker so that when Carlos Hyde cuts it back, he has a good lane thanks to Scharping. Another one here where they're working on the defensive tackle, Scharping chips him with his left shoulder, then moves up to the linebacker, and this creates a huge cutback lane for Carlos Hyde. So the Texans also asked Scharping to pull across the offensive formation and make a lot of blocks in space, and what do you know, he was great at that too. So on this play, you can see here that he's the one who has to loop out to the outside while the rest of the offensive line blocks their down linemen. And he does so well, he stays pretty close to the offensive lineman, and he knows that he has to block number 54 here, he can already see him. So he gets here, he makes good contact right here, and then does well to turn him to the side away from the run so he can't get to Hyde. And this opens up a huge lane for Hyde to make some people miss and get a good gain. Scharping was really great at sticking close to the offensive line when he's pulling, and what this does is right here you can see that he's shoulder to shoulder with Darren Fells, so there's no defender who can squeak through a gap to his left. So he squares up and hits that linebacker and helps out Hyde. They really ran the same type of play all day long against the Chiefs. I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Scharping was great at it, and we killed them with it. On this one here, the whole point is to leave an unblocked defender, so you can see that this edge guy is going to be unblocked, and he goes upfield just a little bit, enough for Scharping to hit him and create an alleyway for Duke Johnson to run through. I personally love running these power plays where we can get an offensive lineman moving and out in space and attacking a second level guy like a linebacker or an unblocked defensive end. It messes with defenses and it's hard for them to stop. So the Texans run a lot of power, but they also run zone, and for zone schemes, making reach blocks is the most pivotal thing that you can do. And Max Scharping luckily is really great at that as well, so he's a very scheme diverse offensive lineman. So you can see here that we're running outside zone to the right, and every offensive lineman needs to get to a gap over to the right to make the block. So as you can see here, once the play is run, that their first step with their right foot is to the right, every one of theirs, and then their next step with their left foot is also to the right. And you can see how much ground Scharping covers compared to Tunsil, who doesn't cover as much ground, and compared to Zach Fulton, who doesn't even get his left foot in front of his right here. And you can see when I play the play, how that changes each of their respective blocks. So Fulton can't get to the outside shoulder of this end. Tunsil, he's kind of squared up, even a little bit to the left, but whereas Scharping, he's completely over to the right side of the defensive lineman, exactly where you want to be, and that helps him drive him out of this play and create a lane for Carlos Hyde to hit. Just great zone blocking here from Scharping, and his ability to make that reach block is going to be pivotal for our scheme for the next year. So another one here where there's a lot of space between Scharping and the gap where Pro Bowler Grady Jarrett is standing, and he wants to attack this left shoulder of Grady Jarrett and get as far to that side as possible to make this reach block. So as you can see here, he does a pretty good job to get to that side and forces Grady Jarrett to the left, and then that opens up a good cutback lane. On this one, he has a ton of ground to cover to make this reach block, but Nick Martin helps him out a little bit, and you can see how he's able to move the defensive lineman to the right so that Duke can cut back to the left. This one shows how useful it is to attack the shoulder of the side that the play is going to and how far he and Tunsil can move that block. Now the next one that we're going to look at is his ability to stop stunts. It's a pivotal aspect of pass protection, and Scharping was really good at it, particularly with Laramie Tunsil. So the pass are running a tackle and stunt, where the defensive tackle attacks Max Scharping first, then goes to Laramie Tunsil to free up the end who attacks Tunsil at first, then goes over to the inside to attack Scharping. And this should theoretically confuse the offensive line. However, as you can see here, they pass it off really smoothly like seasoned vets. Man, that's just great to see. And you can see here how 90 and 70, they both look like they're attacking Scharping and Tunsil respectively. Then 90 goes to attack Tunsil, 70 goes inside against Scharping, but they stonewall them and don't allow any pressure to Watson at all. Another one here against the Chargers this time, and it's just great to see the chemistry and communication between Scharping and Tunsil. Scharping makes sure to block his defensive tackle right here. He blocks him until he can pass it off to Tunsil right now, and then he makes sure to get back around and stop the end, Melvin Ingram, and doesn't allow any pressure. Watson just keeps scrambling here. I don't know how he gets out of this, but that's Watson for you. I really love this next play by Scharping. It shows a lot of good film study in my opinion, because he sees this stunt coming the entire way. At this point, he's looking to the left already. He knows that the stunt is coming, and he's prepared for it. So he doesn't even attempt to block his guy, but he just gets ready for the end coming in to crash. And then if we play back here, look, he's looking straight ahead, and then boom, he starts to turn his head right now, even before the defensive tackle is turning his head. So it's not like he's reading and reacting to this play. He knows what's happening before it even happened, and that must be from film study or picking up things throughout the game and knowing what the Falcons are going to do before they even do it. Picking up stunts like these are not easy, even though that's how Scharping makes it look. It's especially not easy for a rookie and someone who's playing next to a complete stranger in Laramie Tunsil, to be honest. However, they had great continuity throughout the year as they both stayed healthy, and they're able to build up this chemistry and coordination to get these stunts handled. This play design was really cool, where the tackle attacks Scharping, then Martin, and the end attacks Tunsil, then Scharping, and this linebacker loops behind both of them to try and fool them and get to the quarterback. So it looks like all three Raiders are attacking the three Texans right in front of them at this point, but they're not. And it looks like this linebacker is gonna come free, but at the last second, Scharping takes Tunsil's guy, and Tunsil loops around for the linebacker to push him out of the play. No player is perfect, and if there's one thing that Scharping struggled with, it was quick interior moves, where he kind of just got beaten off the snap and wasn't able to fully ever recover. So let's take a look at this play against Grady Jarrett, and it's really tough for him where Jared's lined up to his left, and then he takes this quick jump to the right and he attacks his top feet. And just like in basketball, if you lose at your top foot, it's hard for you to recover, and Scharping just is too off balance and not able to really push Jared out of the play, but luckily Watson can scramble away from him. This one against Danico Autry, where he attacks his top foot with that quick interior move, yet again looks very similar. And you can see here, boom, attacks the right foot, which is his top foot, gets him leaning the opposite way and gets by Scharping. So what can Scharping do to combat this? Well, he can do a better job of staying square and not exposing his top foot like he does here against the Colts later in the year, yet again against Danico Autry. He tries the same move, but because Scharping stays square, he never has to drop that top foot, turn, run, and try and push the D lineman out of the play. Instead, he has him completely blocked. Alright, that'll do it for the Max Scharping breakdown. We went over his game, looked at his strengths, which were his power, strength, his double teams, pulling blocks, reach blocks, and ability to stop stunts as well. He's really just a complete offensive lineman that is scheme versatile, as he can execute all types of blocks asked of him. If you work on one area, it's getting a bit better at stopping quick interior moves, but we saw him progress throughout the season and get better at handling those. I really love Scharping's game. He was super fun to watch, and I really believe he's gonna have a breakout year, and hopefully he gets the hype that he deserves from the national media. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. The question of the day will be, do you think Max Scharping will be as good as Quentin Nelson one day? Let me know. Also, I'm a part of Texans Unfiltered. We have a great website where I and some other guys write in-depth articles about the Texans. We also have a podcast on all your typical podcast platforms, and you can even join our Discord. You can follow us on Twitter at HoustonFBPod, follow me on Twitter at Texans_thoughts for live game tweets, more film breakdowns, and really just anything Texans related. All of those links will be in the description below. Would love for you guys to check us out. Alright, this was Jordan or Texans Thoughts. Hope you enjoyed and come back for more. Take care, everyone.